that we're about to kick off starting in March, and right now is the application period. So I wanted to take some time and, along with Glennon, introduce ourselves and help you get oriented to what we're talking about with this program. So, as I mentioned, I'm Karen Warner, and I'm joined here by my teammate Glennon Stratton, and we're with the CDE Foundation, and we are the STEAM team. So, as people are coming into the room, I thought that just to get to know each other, and so Glennon and I can kind of see where you're coming from, if you could let us know where you are joining us from and something that's fun to do where you are, because this could sort of be like my introduction to different places in the state where I can go do some things fun. So if you would put that into the chat, then we'll see how far and wide everyone is throughout the state. And I'll go ahead and type in that I'm in Redwood City. Oh, Krista's got us doing a little wine tasting, and oh, this is good. We can do some harbor cruises, and I think doing some hikes sounds really good. And I see that Elizabeth's here from Oakland, so she's just on the other side of the bay from me.
And Maria is suggesting to go surfing. I did that yesterday down here in the southern part of Los Angeles. So love that. And Rose Parade, that's in Pasadena. Love that as well. So thanks for sharing. This is kind of our personal trip advisor for whenever we get to these different destinations.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and jump in and let you know where we're going over this next little bit. I'll give you a short introduction to who we are. We're going to go into the Teacher Coach PLC and then talk about next steps that you could take. We did do this Teacher Coach PLC a year ago, almost a year ago, and I thought I'd just let you see a little bit of what some folks felt like the experience was for them. And it was an amazing experience for Glennon and I to be able to support these teacher coaches during this peer-led opportunity that they had to present best practices to each other and to really begin to network and build out supports that they needed to do their coaching of other educators. So we are part of the STEAM team. We are a small and mighty foundation, and Glennon and I, as I mentioned, are doing the STEAM programming. We also do labor management initiatives, and we also do teacher residency labs. So there's a lot of things going on, but we're going to focus today on this STEAM professional learning. So we know I was a teacher coach in the Redwood City School District for a number of years, and Glennon and I know from being part of the STEAM Symposium each year as we meet other coaches that you all really deserve your own professional learning specific to the jobs that you do. A lot of times, me personally as a teacher, I got professional learning. I moved into my position as a coach at the district level for other teachers, and I did not really get that much training specific to the type of role. So being a teacher is different than being a coach. And so we heard loud and clear from folks that they were looking for something like this, and so we were able to offer it last year, and we had such a great response we want to offer it again this year. In fact, last year people said that they really were feeling like they needed this, that this is something that isn't just because of COVID. This was something that's been asked for way before that, and now that we're having to coach in person, virtually, hybrid, there's definitely a need to continue to connect with other people and learn from each other. This is a peer-led PLC, so Glennon and I are not here saying this is like we know everything and we're going to impart our wisdom. This is really more of it's a cohort where we are going to be learning from each other. Glennon and I are here to support you and bring resources to you and help you to convene virtually. And we really want to help nurture the work that you're doing. We understand that each coach supports a certain number of teachers depending on what your role is. And from that, we know that a lot of students are impacted. And so we completely appreciate the type of work that you do. And we feel like this is a really good way to help a tremendous number of students in our state and beyond. And so we're bringing this back. Because last year people said, please don't stop this. We want to continue to grow the network. And I know we will have folks who came who were alumni last year come and join us because they want to get to know other coaches and they really found it rewarding. And a number of them had never received any professional learning specific to coaching. So you may find that that's your case, or maybe you've been a teacher coach for quite a while and you have had some opportunities, but you're looking for more. So here are some resources that are going to be available to you if you apply for the program and if you're accepted to the program. There is a $500 professional learning stipend. There are 3 mandatory meetings that I'll get into, and you will come to those. Each of them, one of those, you will actually present to your coaching peers. But you will also be able to choose your own learning pathway. So there'll be other options other than the one you're presenting. There'll be options for you to go to different workshops and learn from each other. And we will record all of them and you can view them on demand. We also will be building a website, so all the curated presentations and related resources will be there. So I noticed that from the first cohort, they've been going there. It's where they can find each other's contact information and they can actually go back to the presentations that they were learning from and revisit them. So in order to be a part of this program, we first need you to apply. And so I will, in a minute, put the link in the chat. But I want to pause here. I've got some more things that I can go into, but I'm wondering, for all of you here, what are you wondering? What brought you? Because I know this is 4 o'clock and it's going to be probably a busy week for you. So I want to see some questions in the chat, or if you want to come off mute, because I want to be sure I address your questions. All right, Glennon, if you'll watch the chat for me in case a question comes up.
I will, and I'll also just quickly mention, while people might be pondering on questions, I know one of the highlights for many of the participants last time around was the networking and affinity time that we had built into each session. And so they just really, we had networking rooms that were based on a specific topic or a specific affinity, and the coaches really just enjoyed the kind of unstructured time to get to know one another as well. And that's going to continue for the year ahead. But Karen, I'm not seeing any questions in the chat just yet.
Okay.
Here just came one. So I'm by myself. We do not have STEM coaches. I'm the department chair at my site. What is the presentation all about? So 2 things there that I can try to address. So if you do not have a learning partner yet, so that is one of the components of this program, is that we want people to experience this with a learning partner. So that is a counterpart. If you do not have a learning partner yet, or cannot find one in your organization, please still apply and we will welcome you if we can find a counterpart to have you paired with. We did this last year and we had multiple groups. This is very common, especially for folks in rural districts, for example, that they're the only coach in their entire district, period. And so we were able to pair some folks up so that they could have a shared experience related to that. And regarding the presentations, Karen's going to get into that in just a couple of moments, so we'll address that. And then lastly, related to content area, you don't necessarily have to be a STEM or STEAM coach. We welcome any of the content areas. We would, in our ideal applicant, have at least one coach that is from one of the acronym letters, so science, math, or art would be great. Engineering or technology are also welcome, but we'd love to have at least one, and then another from a different content area. We very much view STEAM as interdisciplinary, and we want to encourage that among the learning partners within your organization. And so last year, as an example, we had a pair that came. One was a science teacher on special assignment, and the other was a literacy coach. And so they came as a set, but we would also welcome a math and an art, or an art and a literacy. It really doesn't matter. We really look at this as being interdisciplinary and want to foster that within an organization.
Thanks, Glennon. As far as the presentations, last year, here's just a sampling of some of the titles that people had for their presentations. So you're presenting for about 40 minutes, 45 minutes, and it's talking about something that you do as a coach. So for instance, a pair did a presentation on what it would be like to go in, have other teachers come in, watch a teacher teach, and then how you do the debrief and how you can coach. And they had a specific way of doing it. So they shared what their method was for doing a debrief after classroom visits, with teachers visiting each other's classrooms and learning some best practice. So it's kind of up to you what you feel like you do well that you would like to share out as far as coaching.
And Karen, we had a couple of additional questions come in that I will address. So one, this program is specifically for teacher coaches. So if you are currently working in a classroom, this program is not really designed for you. It's designed for folks that are working as a coach. We recognize that there are many titles to coaching that range from teacher on special assignment, instruction and curriculum specialist, and many others. Some organizations call them coaches. So we're not beholden to a specific title, but we do want the participants in this program, or the folks that are applying, to spend a good portion of their time coaching other educators. So please, that is one of the requirements. And then Karen, I forget the exact date that we published, but one of the questions is, when do you know if you're accepted? And it's sometime, I'm sure it's later in the slide deck, and it's sometime in mid-February.
That's right. That's exactly right. So just so you know, in the first cohort, we really did have people from all over California. And so this was the breakdown. I thought you might be interested to see if there are people that are in the area where you are. I think I got an email this week, and there's someone who's up in Alaska, and they're really interested in being a part of this, but they're looking for a partner. So we certainly are supporting teacher coaches in California, but as we found with our STEAM symposium, our reach goes well beyond California, and it's really wonderful to be able to network with people throughout the U.S. and throughout the world. Grade spans. We really like to have a diverse group of teacher coaches, and so that's whether you're rural, suburban, an urban district, and then also throughout the preschool up through adult education. So it was really a rich experience having the folks and the last cohort. And we want to do the same thing. We want you to be able to meet people from all over the state, different grade levels, and different types of districts. So for our selection criteria, we do want to be sure that we have some rural districts represented, organizations that are serving the low SES populations, coaches who are really in groups that are really dramatically underrepresented in our teaching workforce. We want to be sure that we're really supporting all folks, and especially those who who are tending to not get the support that they necessarily need. And then also different content areas, as Glennon mentioned. So here are just some feedback that we got from different districts, and it was really exciting for us when people were feeling like things are crazy and I really need support and I need to feel connected and valued. And you know what? That isn't just last year, that's this year too. So that's some of the reason that Glennon and I are really wanting to put a lot of energy into this.
And I'll just mention, last year we did this, and it was even later in the school year. It was pushing up on summer break, and folks really engaged and had a really good experience. And it's definitely the context of a pandemic, and we're all tired and fatigued, but we really do value your time and want to bring a high quality experience to you in spite of the pandemic, and in spite of what might be going on around you. And this is a great opportunity to feel connected with others and have some confidential discussions, and have discussions that are very specific, but with folks outside of your district, because sometimes it can be really difficult to have a tough conversation with somebody in your district. You don't feel that you have the trust, or whatever the reason might be. So this is a good way to get input from a group of stakeholders that are only wanting the best for you.
Mm-hmm. I see that Leanne is joining us from Detroit, from the Metro Detroit area. So one of the silver linings of these past 2 years, we've had the STEAM Symposium virtually. And we had a team from Singapore come virtually to the symposium. So we really are enjoying how people are able to connect. And I think by being virtual for this teacher coach cohort, we're able to welcome people in from all over. So I'm glad you're here, Leanne. Oh, let me go back, because this is important. So I mentioned that there are 3 mandatory meetings, because we really need you to be a part of this and show up each time. So the dates are already set. It's March 9th, April 6th, and May 4th. And we'll determine which convening you would actually present at. But in the past, for the first convening, there was usually 3 or 4 different sessions you could choose to go to, and then we would have a break, and then you would have 3 or 4 other ones to choose from. So you would typically go to 2 different breakout sessions. In addition to, we have a keynote speaker, or there may be some activity that we do as a whole group, and then go into breakout sessions and discuss it and have really that networking time. Because that's a big part of this, is being able to not just meet people, but meet people that you learn to really connect with. And then when you have an issue or a problem of practice that you need to reach out and get some help on, with the last cohort, there were about 50 people in it, and that gave them 49 other people that they could reach out to. And we do ask, if you come into this, that you share your contact information, and if you get an email from someone that's in this cohort, that you respond to them, because we really want this to be a tight community that you can count on. Our STEAM Symposium this year will be in person. It's going to be in Anaheim, and the dates are October 1st and 2nd, which are a Saturday and Sunday. And so our hope is that you would be in this cohort, you would meet virtually for that March, April, May, and then in October come together perhaps, and enjoy going to the symposium together and getting to see each other in person. It's our hope. So to apply, you can go to this link here, the Coach PLC 22, and at the conclusion of the program, which would be in May, that's when all the stipends are paid for active participation. And so I'm going to take my slide deck down now and see if there's some other questions. And I will put that link in here for applying, so that if you decide that this is the right thing for you, you'll just be able to click. And it takes about 10 minutes, I think, to do the application.
Thank you, Karen, and thank you all for joining us. At this point, we're done with our kind of formal presentation, and we will be making the recording available, and we'll send it to all of you and to everyone that registered and to others. So yeah, Sonia, you'll get it. It should be in the next day or so. And we're here just to answer questions. This is kind of transitioning to office hours format, and feel free to come off mute. If you'd like to come on screen with us, you're more than welcome to. But we're here to answer any questions you might have.
And I did just put the link in. I know some of you are here and want to share this out to colleagues, and so please do share the presentation. It has a lot of the specific information, so they can watch the video if that's the way they like to learn things, or they can go through the slides themselves. Thank you, Maria, for coming. I appreciate it. I see some great avatar pictures along with some of these screens. I'm going to need to up my avatar game.
Me too. Me too. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording or pause it, and